Hey, this is Ian Spanier, Los Angeles-based portrait photographer. If you've ever wondered what fully goes into a photo shoot, you're going to have to watch this whole video. You're going to join me today in the studio to see everything that goes into a photo shoot from planning point to actually shooting. Let's face it, photography is really only about 10% of your time as a professional photographer. And what we do before the shoot is what really makes the difference and makes for the most successful photo shoots. Let's break down the importance of pre-production to set yourself up for success. First and foremost, what exactly is the shoot for today? If it's for a client, ask a lot of questions. Find out what the vibe of the shoot is meant to be and seek out the keywords used to describe the assignment to start thinking about your lighting. Because for me, lighting is everything. If it's a personal shoot, treat it the same. What are your keywords to represent your vision for this project? Next, location, location, location. What will help you accomplish the right vibe for this project? Even if you're shooting in a blank white studio, which studio will give you the right fit for the best day? Crew up. Your crew is just as important to your success as you are. Anyone I work with needs to represent me as well. They should reflect my level of professionalism and composure. Most importantly for me, a very chill, can-do sentimentality and a quiet confidence we can overcome any challenges. Plan it out. I've been keeping a notebook of my sets and ideas since the start of my career, and I still find it very useful today. Visualizing my photo shoots before the shoot even happens always gives me the right starting point. Even when plans change, I now have a foundation for which to jump forward, never scrambling and never feeling like I don't have a solution to whatever challenges I face. For this shoot, we're going to recreate an editorial-style photo shoot, say for a magazine like Vanity Fair. My subject is a writer and a director who is being featured for her new prize-winning book. So first I'm going to pull some inspiration. I often go to photo books of the masters of photography, but another great source is Pinterest, where I can create a mood board and share it with clients, talent, and crew. My idea for the day is to show Annika as a creative, a director, and for some fun, dressed up like she's off to a party for her award. I also use sites like Peerspace to find the right location when one is not provided. When I found a studio called Vanity Fair, I knew I found the right place. I'm sharing everything with my subject, producer/videographer, and my makeup artist at this point so everyone can start to visualize the shoot as well. Once I have my ideas in mind and a space to work with, I start writing up my lighting plan. This will also make an archive of sorts for me should I ever want to repeat the photo shoot again, especially if we land a repeat client, which frankly are the best kinds of clients after all. I don't always get involved with the clothes, but in this case, I have a specific look in mind for Annika. So we're also texting back and forth a little bit about what kind of clothes she has available for the shoot. For larger photo shoots or bigger sets, we might have a stylist take the lead on this. Now the real fun begins. Let's go check out the studio. So whenever I walk into a studio or a new location, I'm always looking around for what are my shots going to be. And obviously this space was chosen for a reason. It has a lot of elements that I can work with without having to have a set designer or bring in a prop stylist or anything along those lines. So as I come in, always the very first thing I do is look up because I always want to know how high my ceilings are. This is a pretty large space. One thing I do note is that there's metal on the ceiling, so that means light's going to bounce around a little bit, so something to be aware of. And then of course I look at the floor, what am I dealing with if I was running a seamless paper or anything along those lines, which I'm not today. Then from there, I'm basically looking around at what kind of compositions can I go with. So I've been using a tool like this for a very long time. It's a little bit old school way of doing it, but it's a way for me to frame up possible shots that I'm gonna do. Whenever I have the opportunity to scout first, I'll always do that. But with no time before this photo shoot, this is my chance to come up with my shoot plan throughout the day. Because I'm not going to be changing lighting very much, this is more about what will be the most efficient way to move through the space. Annika is a big part of this photo shoot, so I'm also going to go over my ideas with her before she sits with Sarah, our makeup artist for today. One small challenge, Annika has a meeting to get to in Hollywood, so we have to get this all done within 3 hours. Ambitiously, we have 3 looks on the table. Because of the mood board, we've already discussed an overall look for the photo shoot, so Sarah has her plan for hair and makeup, and can get Annika ready while I set up the camera and lighting. I am a big believer in letting my team do their part without me helicoptering over them. I always speak up when I see something that I would like to be different, or if I'm asked my opinion, but I love when the team takes ownership of their own parts of the photo shoot. My original idea for how I would light this photo shoot would be to create a big source of light. I would do this probably with a scrim and probably 2 to 3 umbrellas behind more diffusion, firing right directly at my subject for a large light source with a nice fall off. But knowing that I'd be in a smaller space and working solo on this photo shoot, it didn't seem to make much sense. So instead, I opted for my stack. I'm going to put a 7-foot Westcott shoot-through umbrella coupled with a 43-inch deep silver umbrella with diffusion. Now I'm going to use a trident on top of my stand just so that if I need to, I can add more than one strobe to fire through that 7-foot umbrella. Today I'll be using Westcott's newest strobe, the FJ800, along with the FJ402, which is their second version of their 400-watt strobe. Initially, I thought I might need more power through that 7-foot umbrella, but the 800-watt strobe is more than enough power for what I need. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't jump on my soapbox for a moment and talk about the importance of the light meter. This is the tool that will get you to understand light. I use a light meter on nearly all of my photo shoots because I really want to control every aspect of the lighting to be exactly the way that I pictured it in my mind when I was sitting at my notebook sketching out my ideas. Once my lights are set, I'll get my camera ready. Today I'll be using Canon R5 Mark II along with the CamRanger 2, which will allow me to shoot wirelessly and share my images with the team. I have made a capture of the first set, and since Annika is just about ready, I'm going to review the mood board one more time with her so we're all on the same page. Now let's get on set. I do pride myself on being someone that shoots rather quickly, but I do like to take my time on the first shot. First, I want my subject to get accustomed to how I work and not think about all of the pairs of eyes on them. This also is my time to warm up and get my ideas flowing. I don't love the fall off of the light, so I'm going to add a V-flat here and fire some light into it to shed a little bit more light into this area. Now that I'm happy with the light, I take the reins as the director of the photo shoot. My noodling with lights is done, and now I want to ensure I get the right feel for my subject. Because this is a collaboration with my subject, I'm more than happy to share the images and make sure everyone sees what they like. We all agree we have the first shot, so let's move forward. Here is our favorite. While Annika goes back with Sarah for an outfit and look change, I reset my light for the next set. Everything will stay consistent, and I will continue to use the light meter to ensure this. I will also continue to use the V-flat as a bounce, but this time for some negative fill. Across from that, I want a little bit more light to fill the set, so I can take advantage of the great background. Remember the ceiling that I talked about earlier? This is a great use of the metal ceiling. It is one giant reflector. So here I'm going to fire another one of the FJ402s into the ceiling for some room fill. Again, using that light meter to keep it subtle and not affect my key light. Now, as much as I rely on a light meter, feel will always trump technical any day for me. So if something feels better if I use a little bit more power or a little less power out of my strobe or my continuous lights, and it's not matching the meter readings, that's a-okay in my book. Feel will always trump technical. For me, this image nails it for Annika, the writer/director. So we're starting to get tight on time, but I always want to over-deliver. And we had the thought that in contrast to this look, Annika would mimic one of the inspiration shots in just a jacket with a different look for hair and makeup. Everyone was psyched when we got this additional shot done. Once again, while Sarah and Annika changed the look for the last setup, I'm going to reset the lights. Note how I meter every change that I make. This is so that consistency will stay from set to set. As we're now on cruise control, the shots are just about having fun. Now that we've accomplished everything that we wanted to today, I'll break down the lights and pack up the gear. I'll do one last dummy check to make sure we haven't left anything behind, and I'll make sure that the studio is returned to exactly how it was when we walked in. Next, I'll head back to the office and download my images, get my edit done, and start retouching. For more on my backup system, please check out my other video for PPA on my post-production workflow. Once my shoot is complete, I add the technical notes in for my setups, the light readings and camera settings, as well as what modifiers I used. Then I tape a small printout of each setup into the book for reference at any time down the road. For a pretty quick shoot, in under 3 hours, we got a lot of great images. 4 looks instead of 3, and the day went super smooth. Annika was even able to get out for her meeting with no worries. I can only surmise that the success of the day relies on the preparation that took place before I even picked up my camera. I often say that it's the talent as a photographer that's the given, and it's everything else that you bring to the table that helps you stand out from the crowd. Once again, for PPA, this is Ian Spanier. Thanks for joining us. Please like and comment below.